of course. And why wouldn't it? And it also correlates with the kind of the topic of this episode, which stemmed from your awesome inquiries on our Facebook page. Chuck's been posting really interesting like gaming questions on our page and on other pages that we're very active on. And what was the question, Chuck? This was a prior question.
I get the exact wording to it. I'm looking here now. So I asked on it looks like they're June 26th. That's what do you feel is an appropriate amount of gaming time per week?
What was that?
I said, can I get an amen?
The mics are hot with that. And the podcast begins. Welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers. And yes, even NPCs. We don't discriminate. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast, episode 29. Coming at you hot. What's going on, Chuck T?
Not much, man. Just chilling, ready to get into it.
Yeah, man, me too. Interesting topic today, but I think, for example, just now we're like, maybe we should do some gaming before we get on the pod. It's like there's always time for gaming, but is there too much time?
I still, yeah. I'm still thinking about that loss. We came real close to winning one there. It was Irish to lose.
Yeah, I think it's appropriate for that one to hurt a little bit.
That freaking smoke. We won that way because of the smoke recently, and like I don't know, it was kind of like kissing your sister a little bit. Like it's bad for everyone when it goes down that way.
Yeah, we were doing pretty good there. We had a solid advantage with our weaponry. We had some good kills under our belt, and we were coming up, I think, on I think it was the graveyard part of Vondel, kind of just past the mall, I think. We were kind of pushing that section.
Yeah.
And we got caught in a parking garage that just did not have a quick way out. And
like bottom floor of it at some
bottom floor, like really long distance to each egress, and the smoke was just moving quick. And man, there were only 4 players left. So I think when I looked up, I'm like, man, if we die, we're gonna lose and get second place. And that was what happened.
Dang, yeah,
they didn't even have to do anything, and they won that one.
I wish there was a way to revive, like you could pick the other guy up and carry him while you're poking him with that stem or whatever.
Like do a little fireman carry,
yeah.
Jab it in his leg while you're running. Yeah. We're still in this, buddy. Yeah. Let's go.
Hit the ground running.
That would be a cool little mechanic to be able to pick up your squad mate and run him out, like if you have a mask or something.
Yeah. If we'd had a mask, we'd have been in business right there. But.
Oh man, speaking of Warzone and smoke and frustration and troubles, remember how they made that change that we weren't expecting? We were playing with Most Deadly and Pepe Tortilla, and the strategy was, you guys push, I'm going to run back into the smoke, get to the buy box, buy back our other squad mate. I think it was you or myself. No, it was me. I was making the run, and I got to the buy box, and it wouldn't let me make the buy. It wouldn't let me buy it back because it was in the smoke.
Yeah.
Dang,
I think I've even probably done it once since then, and like forgot like that you couldn't do that. Like tried to run over there.
Not anymore.
Yeah, dang, that hurts. Yeah, God, what a fun game though.
Yeah, man, it is a fun one. Warzone for me has its ups and downs. There are more ups than downs, but when it gets on my nerves, it really gets on my nerves hard, and I'll just be like, "Fuck this game, man," and just go on to something else. I'll do a metaphorical controller throw to the wall, and just I don't actually do that, but I'll just I'll punch my couch and be like, "I'm done." It happened the other day with you, remember?
You did get a little puffy.
I was like, "Fuck this TTK, I'm done with this bullshit." It's just like
done with Warzone. I'm out. I was like, "Yeah, you'll be back."
I know some of you out there can relate with me, right? Can I get an amen to that? I mean, raise your hand to the roof, man. Sometimes Warzone is frustrating. It's like you can only shoot them 37 times and expect them to go down.
Correct.
But no. It takes another, and then they'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. After updates like that, you never know what the new adjustments are going to throw at you.
Yeah, yeah. It. I think that's a vital part of the game, though. Like it obviously dictates the gameplay, like somehow, like. So
It does.
Yeah, they probably tweak that all the time.
I think they got to tweak battle royale type gameplay mechanics all the time because it's not the same as multiplayer. It's not the same as your standard multiplayer in Call of Duty or like Battlefield, which is a little bit different, but it's not like that. Warzone is just a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Or video game.
I do find it seems like everyone's always got some, beef with it at any one time and the thing that they're frustrated with, but I think even recently I've kind of took a step back and just said, man, I do enjoy the shit out of this game because it draws me back, and it is fun as shit.
Man, and you've been on a roll lately, Chuck. Yeah. Like, I know we've already mentioned it in prior episodes, but when Chuck went back to the controller from the PC, which kind of was just a convenience thing because we've all been playing on the PS5 lately. We're all fortunate enough to have the PS5. If you don't have one yet, hope you can get one soon. And it turned out to just be like a complete game changer for Chuck Tomahawk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun. That correlates to wanting to play more, I'm sure. But
oh, well, of course. And why wouldn't it? And it also correlates with the kind of the topic of this episode, which stemmed from your awesome inquiries on our Facebook page. Which you guys, if you're out there and you want to follow us on Facebook or on any of the platforms, you can find us anywhere with the handle @NWG Podcast. But yeah, Chuck's been posting really interesting like gaming questions on our page and on other pages that we're very active on. And what was the question, Chuck? This was a prior question.
I get the exact wording to it. I'm looking here now. So I asked on it looks like they're June 26th. That's what do you feel is an appropriate amount of gaming time per week?
What do you think? Oh gosh, listeners, can you hear my neighbor going off again with his freaking? Can you hear that in the background?
Just a little bit. Yeah, he's gaming.
He's
over
like,
there. He's
no,
calling in the
dude.
airstrike.
I think he's. I think I mentioned this before. If you're new to the podcast, listeners, I live in a very humble barrio of Mexico, in the Baja Peninsula at the very bottom. And yeah, I'm in a barrio here where I've got some awesome neighbors, but they do all sorts of things, including mechanics. And
pretty free.
I find that they stress test the motors a lot. Dude, they'll just start revving like you'll hear it. I hope it doesn't interrupt the podcast too much. If the neighbors don't, I'm sure a rooster will or some other sort of thing. Maybe a passing donkey that decides to start going off happens. But he'll just start revving the shit out of the motor, dude. Just keep
getting the soot out of it.
Let's see if anything just blows up in here. But anyways, I got sidetracked. Happens a lot.
No, I feel you. Yeah.
But what were we saying? Yeah, that okay. So, what do you think is the appropriate amount of gaming time per week, more or less? Yep. And I think that was a great segue because you were saying, I think winning in Warzone has an impact on my desire to play.
Oh, yeah.
And it certainly does, man. Like, because, and this isn't a jab. I'm just recollecting, and there are ups and downs. Like, we have great games, be it Call of Duty Warzone, be it a session on an RPG, a good PvP situation in a survival game. There's ups and downs, but we all kind of have like an average, right? Where we are, and we get better. It goes up over time. But Chuck, man, when on the PC, I think there was an average for you around like maybe 1 to 2 kills, sometimes 0, and then when you switch back to the got a burp in there, back to the controller. I mean, it was an immediate like a switch. It's like. Yeah. Like a southern Baja summer heat wave coming in, man. It just, bam, like you were getting 4 or 5, and lately it's been like averaging around 5 to 6 kills, 7 kills.
It has,
which is great because we kind of we're not the most aggressive players. We're not like our boys out there, the Jack Frags and the Benny Centrals and the J Gods and all them that are just like going for it, man. They're trying to get that. They're just constant. Like, where's the sound? We're going that, like we're kind of more strategic. We'll engage. We'll look for the battles, but we're kind of stealthy. Like, that's kind of just our style,
Yeah, we seem to pick a landing spot and sort of learn it really, at one or two landing spots and learn them really well and operate like at a higher level, I feel like, in those areas. And then outside of that, we hold our own, but it's nothing like how familiar we are with those landing spots.
It's like, because sometimes we'll open a door and it'll be like, oh. It's just like, it's like, oh, well, we're not familiar with this part of the map.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But, I will say I've gotten into a few grinding modes a couple times. I think I mentioned before, like trying to get different camos, like getting obsessed with that part of Call of Duty, but it doesn't like trigger the thing that's going to throw the needle on this what's an appropriate amount of gaming thing for me, like survival games do. But it is kind of time consuming. One thing we've talked about lately is the loading time. I find like you're looking at a good, if you're playing 4 matches or something like that, like I would say a good 15-20 minutes of that time period is loading times. And
you're right, because there is a long let's call it a gaming purgatory on Warzone, at least when you're finishing a match. Like, let's say, let's go right to a worst case scenario. You start the match, you drop in, the landing spot's hot, your whole squad gets wiped, you got to restart. So there's that interim, that purgatory part where you're kind of waiting for the next lobby to start, which the lobby itself can be up to a minute. Usually it ain't that long, but let's call it an average of like 40 seconds. And then it loads. Well, first it loads, then it puts you in the lobby. So yeah, realistically, I'm just trying to be really like realistic and not exaggerate. It could be around 3 minutes. So yeah, you get 4 or 5 rounds in, which is kind of like where we're at, sometimes 6, depends on how much time we've got. And this is exactly what we're talking about this episode. Like, how much time are we going to put into this, as quote unquote productive adults? I don't know how to define that, but that little purgatory there can be around 9-10 minutes if you're playing a bunch of rounds.
And then I like to tack like another minute on there that it takes me to realize I'm the party leader.
Oh yeah.
Like
this going.
And then like then you look at that. It's never quite clear what to push. It's like leave, play again, leave with party.
Play again without party, play again with party. I know, it's like, come on, guys. It's like, how long have you been in this business? There's got to be something easier here.
I'm going to play again, or I'm going to lose all my friends. What the fuck?
I know. It's like a very serious choice you got to make at the end of every war zone. Like, man, how are they going to take it?
And then
I hit the wrong button.
Like I asked.
Oh, and if you do, sometimes it takes a bunch of time just to get everyone back into the squad.
Oh,
like if someone accidentally gets kicked.
Yeah, the frustration is going to go up tenfold there. But like I was in that position the other day, and I asked, and it's like it had the choices we just went over, and I think like when you answer me, you're like, I'm just going to use this as an example. It's like what you said was none of the choices. It was like hit reload with players, like or something. It's not in there.
I know.
Or it's like on the next screen, like you've got to hit that, and then you're given those choices, and man, it does add up. But I think we all know like what the game that for me and I think maybe you as well is Ark and the survival genre in general, as far as taking up tons of time and just having things that are going on like purge weekends and different things that just really dictate when you're going to play and things that happen that force you to stay on, like you might have died and need to go back and get your things, and hundreds of hours of gameplay worth of items and loot could be lost, and Yeah,
Yeah, it's an endless hole. It's an endless dark pit that you can continue to fall into. But I think that's the whole thing is like, how much is the appropriate time? When you posted that, I noticed there's like well over, I think, an aggregate looking at all the pages. There's well over like 400, 500 comments. So we can't go through all of them. But I mean, why don't we just start with us, Chuck?
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot here, man. Everyone's listening. How much time do you put into a video game per day, then per week?
I would say planned.
And look, it's totally. I'm sorry to interrupt, but no one's gonna judge you here. You're a retired man. You know, you can.
Yeah, a lot of my situation is different than a lot of the folks that answered our question. But I think what I shoot for is I sort of intend to during the day maybe check on something like have one really short session that maybe let's say is going to be an hour at most, and then in the evening I'm going to play 2 to 3 hours is sort of what I'm thinking of. Maybe get on around 7 and off around 10, somewhere in there. So
explain to our fellow gamers and listeners what you mean by I might just hop on to check in on something. Because to anyone that doesn't I know where you're coming from, but not everyone's gonna understand. What do you mean check on something?
Yeah, that's like, one of the unique things, like how these survival games. Yeah.
Little kids are gonna be using that now.
Let me see my other family here.
Just tell me how to check on something.
just doing my daily chores. With the survival game, I might have something that requires time. There might be a timer that dictates when I can mate 2 dinosaurs that I'm trying to get an egg out of, and excuse me, if I just wait up until it's time for me to get on, like I'll have to wait that timer out. So I might want to go ahead and get that ball rolling, or go ahead and get an egg and be ready to get another one when I get on, or I might have a dinosaur that his stats are able to be increased, and I want to increase them and let them just sort of passively build back up his health and things that I've upgraded, the space that's being created by that. Excuse me. So the survival games have those things like where you just sort of have to check on them. I mean, and it might be if we're doing PvP, I might want to make sure that we haven't been raided, and just sort of get reassured that everything's still cool. And
I think this is a huge example of that. Maybe the game, whatever game that may be, has an impact on one's time and how much time they put into it. Like, because not every game will make you want to play the same amount of time. And so I guess what I'm gathering here is Ark is kind of like that game that really can, it can like suck the time right out of your day. It's funny because with survival games, especially Ark, definitely Ark. I played Rust for quite a bit, and even Rust wasn't really like this. A little bit. It had aspects, but Ark is really the one that is like, it's like, there actually are like chores to do in that game. It's crazy. Like if you're playing Ark and you're taking it seriously, there's actually, you got to like do the chores every now and then. You got to fill the troughs, keep the beetles producing fertilizer with the dung and everything that the dinosaurs drop. Keep the generators filled with gasoline so that everything's running. Make sure that you're getting rid of all the spoiled meats from the fridges and everything, because there's like actually a lot to do in that game if you take it seriously, because it's a constantly running server. It doesn't actually turn off. There's not a pause button. You can't pause the game.
It's one of the satisfying parts of it. It kind of scratches a different itch than, say, jumping into Warzone and immediately getting some kills. But there's something very, it doesn't require, like, those menial tasks to me, like, don't require a ton of thought. And it kind of, it might be when you're listening to a podcast or something else kind of going on, just sort of taking care of those chores, maybe raising some tames and babies from them, and I kind of enjoy that part of the game too. But
me too. But, same with No Man's Sky.
But yeah,
I do that on No Man's Sky.
Relate that back to your question. I feel like you're looking at like 3-4 hours a day on the week during the week, and I think if I was really just trying to think probably what's best, let's say 12 hours for the week, and then maybe a couple 4-hour sessions on the weekend, so another 8 hours, so 20 hours a week. I think
Yep.
Would kind of like a part-time
shoot.
job.
It's for the pod, man. It's for the pod. We gotta keep inspired, man. Otherwise, we wouldn't even have this beautiful pod that we horribly suck at.
I think that.
Yeah, that sounds. Well, I have a feeling I'm gonna fall right around that same range of hours. I'm definitely a lot more balanced these days, and I think it's a good thing. Having balance. Everyone's different, but for me, Ovox, getting involved in a lot of other activities that have nothing to do with video games has been great for me. But if I go pre that change in my lifestyle, I mean, I think suffice it to say that I have over 4,000 hours put into Ark. Dude, I had a phase, man, where God, I can't even calculate it, because there was a phase where weekend or weekday, Pepe Tortilla and I would start a session on Ark. This is when he was really obsessed with Ark too. You know, we'd get going at about, let's just call it 5 or 6, maybe even earlier, 4. No, it'd be 5 or 6 because I'd be done with work. And we just start playing, man. And, you know, he'd hop off at about 8 or 9, and I'd go on until 1 or 2 in the morning. And I know there's people out there that are going to be like, dude, that's nothing, man. I'll go all... Sorry, a little burp. I'll go all night. Oh, man. We're coughing and burping up a storm over here.
Yeah, let me grab a drink real quick.
Yeah. Wash it down, Chuck. Wash it down, man. Take some of that health potion.
Yeah, I got that.
Take some of that health potion over there.
Some LaCroix.
Well, what do you got there?
It's
Pacifico?
Orange-flavored LaCroix.
Oh.
Straight from France.
Sounds look good.
Fancy pants. But yeah, I definitely have been there with you.
You know what I mean? Like
time.
Yeah. We'll go like but imagine like every night. I was doing that every night, man. But nowadays, 2023 Ovox, and years back now, I like to get a quick session in real early in the morning before work starts, and I'll literally go on to like Ark and check everything out, make sure the base is good, everything's functioning well. Lately, I've been playing a lot of No Man's Sky. There's an expedition called the Singularity Expedition. It's still going on for 10 more days, man. You got 10 days. I've pretty much finished it. I've got a couple of more milestones, so I've been playing that in the morning. And yeah, I'll put in like an hour, get to work. And then when I get home on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after jiu-jitsu and the gym and all that stuff, you know, I might play for an hour or half an hour just because I'm beat. You know, I'm tired at that point. On Tuesday and Thursday, same thing. I'll play for an hour in the morning, and in the evening, I have a little bit more time, so I'll, maybe play for 2 hours. I'm not as beat. So... I don't know. What is that? That's maybe 8 hours during the week and maybe another 4 on the weekend. So I'm right around like, let's shoot high and say like 15 hours a week, probably.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, more or less. And that's, I think that's all right. I think it ain't bad. We have a great time. I think that's an important thing too. But what's because when you're having a great time, it's hard to pull away from a video game. And then if you have objectives, like you were mentioning, you're trying to get all the skins, you're trying to get all the attachments, you're trying to get all of the perks, all of the power ups. That can become a grind where things that are far more important in real life get thrown out the door. Like something that I wanted to mention that I was thinking of is that there are games and there are scenarios in games or moments or things that occur in the gaming realm that will literally push all other important things aside that you should be attending to in real life, that maybe another game wouldn't have that effect on you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if you told me, hey man, Warzone a little later, everyone's going to be on, it's going to be great. But like, let's say I have, I don't know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe possibly even a date. Who knows? Something in real life that I know that is going to be at that same time, and I need to go address it. I need to go take care of it. Maybe it's taking my car to get washed, or it could be any menial thing that's important. But and then I was like, you know what, man, I'm busy. Sorry, I got to go take care of this thing. But if you came back and said, hey, we're gonna go do a raid on this base on Ragnarok. We've got all of the armor and weapons prepared. It's gonna be one hell of a battle. Like, oh man, Arc PvP raid. All right, man. Yeah, I think I can arrange some things. I'll be there. I'll be on. And you'll like, depending on the game or the situation, you'll literally like reallocate important time in real life to getting into that game sesh. And that's where you gotta wonder, like, is this healthy?
It's a little bit of a vice at that point, isn't it? I do feel like, though, it's pretty rare that those things override. What I'm thinking of, I think the other day you made the statement that if I saw a Giga when I was on Arc, that to let no matter what time it was, that you would join me for doing that. And I was actually in a situation last night. I was kind of like flying around. I forget what map I was on, but I knew where the Gigas were on that map, and I thought, should I go look and would he really do that right now? And then I thought, I shouldn't put us in that situation. Like it's like I don't want to go into bed.
I don't want to test our friendship.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, if I just rolled up on it like naturally and was like, oh shit, like that was a 150 giga.
Hey, Ovox.
Yeah,
like,
but
hey man,
yeah,
I'm in jiu-jitsu right now, learning to take. Hey brother, you said. You're right. Hey coach, look. Something really important came up. I was like, no, coach. Sorry, personal family matter. Got a bolt.
Yeah. I really played it through. Like I was sitting there thinking, and I think the thing to do at that time would be to say, like, okay, do you have the stuff? And maybe say, okay, keep an eye on him. Start making the stuff. You could probably delay for a little bit.
But I we need a Giga.
Oh, I know.
We need a Gigantosaurus. That's probably how I'd have managed it. Be like, all right, I'm en route. I'll be home in a second. I'll hop on in the meantime. But see, the thing is I know you, dude. You already have everything ready. That's a dumb question to begin with.
But yeah, I would probably want to make a few more BioShock darts.
Dude, whenever I'm on there and you're offline and it's like, the other day I needed a couple of nets because I was looking for a dire bear, and I was starting to get all the resources to start making some, and I was like, wait a minute, and I just ran up and looked on your body. I don't even know if there was any more room left for shit. You had so much shit on your inventory, dude. Mickey's like that too. Mickey the Dick, dude. He's always got a full inventory of shit on his character.
Dude,
how do you guys run around like that?
He got in the habit of robbing me so much one time. Like I literally had been playing with him and kind of said my goodbyes or whatever, and went in my room and like sat my character down on this chair and was just kind of doing something AFK there for a minute before I actually turned it off or whatever. And as soon as he felt like I was off, I saw the door open and like he walked up to my body. It was just
you dirty bastard. Yeah. What did he take? Like a bunch of eggs or something?
Who knows? Like what, just whatever it was. I think at that time maybe it probably was BioShock darts or something like that or biotoxin. But yeah, that's funny how that works. But I used to have a worse time with Ark. Like I do feel like there was a time period, like here about 6 months ago, where I was playing way more than I'm mentioning now. And like I would be in a situation where you guys were 2 or 3 hours like different time behind me, but like you guys were the one that said like, all right, we're getting and it's like, isn't it like 3 a.m. for you there? Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
Huh? Yeah, but I mean, you've kind of made you're on a whole new game too, man. Like with other stuff in life, just like balancing things out. So I think everyone goes through that phase. And they're also like, it's not the same for us as it is for a kid in high school or a kid in middle school or a kid in elementary, getting after some gaming. It's just not the same, I think it's a little bit more permissible or
yeah, they've got less
to say
responsibilities.
it's the opposite of exactly of a situation like ours. Yeah, exactly. Man, there's a point. Like if you're young enough, man, all you need to worry about is chocolate milk, Saturday cartoons, and getting onto the gaming. Is chocolate milk and Saturday cartoons still a thing? Probably not.
Maybe.
I don't even know if Saturday cartoons are out there anymore.
Like what kind? Are you talking like a Yoo-hoo there? Or are you
Dude,
mixing your own?
I don't want.
You making
no,
you get the
no.
Nestle Quick or
Nesquik, you got to make your own, man.
Yeah.
And usually it's mom making it or dad or something.
Are you going powder or are you like?
I don't want to put myself on blast. How old I am. what kind of TV I was watching Saturday cartoons on.
I guarantee I can top it. Like I was drinking Ovaltine or some shit as a kid.
Ovaltine.
Just shot a castor oil in there.
Oh man, dude, yeah. A little bit of bear grease in that, isn't there?
In a cast iron skillet. My grandma's about 4:30 in the morning waiting for the school bus. But yeah.
I don't know if you make chocolate milk in that, G-Ma. You'll see.
Ovaltine.
Be the best damn chocolate milk you've ever had.
I've never been a too crazy like chocolate milk kind of. I mean, it's nice. I like it nice and cold. And the school system, I think we had it every day at school, so it kind of
I remember
scratched that itch for the rest of my life. I think.
I did have my first couple of years of elementary were in the U.S. and I do remember that. And it was early '90s, real early '90s.
What are they rocking to drink there in Mexico no milk?
Dude, it's a whole different thing down here. In school,
The cafeteria
in elementary school,
experience,
the cafeteria experience is completely different, man.
Oh, I would love to hear.
I'll tell you about that next time you're down here, or maybe next time we're gaming. At what moment or when do you think it's too much time invested in gaming per week? And don't even limit yourself to the week thing. Just like at what point would you say that's too much time? And we've already admitted that we've fallen into that, so
I
you can be completely honest.
Hours to it, but I think it ultimately comes down to sort of a balancing thing, like you're kind of mentioning, like all the factors sort of come into play there, and it's like, how much fun was I having, like how rare of an event was going on, like was it like a case where all 4 people I normally game with are off of work and actively doing something that won't take place at some other day or something like that. But
let me give you some better parameters then. Let me define the parameters a little bit better. Regular game, not a new release, nothing special going on. It's a game you just love a lot. You wanna finish it. That's all. It's a game you love a lot. You want to finish it. No special events or anything going on like that. No new DLC or new release. Standard week, uneventful time, no holidays, nothing like that. It's just a regular life week. What do you think would be?
When does it turn them? Yeah. I think the numbers we mentioned earlier, again, somewhere to 15 to 20 hours, but a factor I find like that probably is specific to our listeners that are over 30 is it at some point my body starts feeling like sitting in a chair like that. I've heard like kind of health folks like say that sitting is the new smoking, like and
what if you're sitting and burning a J at the same time?
Exactly.
Now that's a conundrum.
I think a sedentary time is like besides the what I'm doing, as far as it being specifically the video game, I think a lot of time in a chair is a bit over the top. And one interesting thing I wanted to bring up that I've done to counteract that is I have this thing called the QB. I'm looking at it right now. I have this little workout thing under my desk. Like you probably haven't heard me mention it in a while, and I don't use it as much as I did when I first got it. But like I can kind of like pedal a bike as I'm sitting here, with different settings on it, and you're not burning a ton of calories, but at least you're kind of hedging.
Yeah,
you know,
you're keeping the blood flowing at least.
Yeah, it's like damage control a little bit, and
so does that allow you to put in a couple of extra hours? Is that what you're trying to say?
that might tip that back from it going too far. But I think for me, it's almost like my body starts like saying, "Hey, man, you need to get up and move around. Like you're gonna have a blood clot or something here. Like you get a thrombosis, like somewhere you don't want it." Like,
Man.
I have a hot tub now, and that's a counteraction to that. Like I've gone, I've kind of stood up and said, "Man, I'm stiff as crap," and go pop in there for a minute or two, and that kind of pops you back into action. But yeah, it when it happens, though. It's hard to define.
I think,
but
I think you're
like when you look around and there's a bunch of cans and shit sitting all around the TV, and you've got the same sweatpants you had on Friday evening, and it's like,
oh, dude, I think
Monday
that's like a
morning
grave
of a holiday,
case.
and like, you kind of smell, you get a whiff of yourself there.
No, I think that's like the end game. Like that's how far it can go if you let it go too far.
Sometimes I kind of like that, like you just sort of get in there, like
Just
maybe it's really
confessions on
rainy or it's it's just that kind of weekend, like and you just sort of let it go, like I don't like to smell anybody else's BO, but your own blend there sometimes is kind of like.
Oh, dude, I could never let it go that far. Me personally, see, in real life, dude, I'm just like I am in Ark.
I could see that.
I'm always organizing shit,
Really
putting it away.
fastidious, even keeping yourself
This
clean.
goes over here. Jeez, put it away once you move it. God.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like that with myself too, man. If I see an empty can sitting on the that I left there, I'd be like, oh, that's gotta go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you're saying. Though. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Those are rare cases.
Yeah. It can go there though. I know that there was that one, like when you kind of, this last time I think I played Ark there for a little bit and had a pretty long break. And then when I started back that next time, like I'd been to Mexico and I came home and like threw my suitcase in the floor in my room. Like I think I'd done laundry when I was there in Mexico, so all the stuff in there was pretty well clean. I just started living out of it, like, and then like 6 months later, it was still in the floor, and like and I remember like that's that time period I was staying up all night playing Ark, and like it would screw up my next day so much. Like I would stay up till 3 a.m, and I think we've mentioned in another episode, one of the fun things about being over 30 is like, no matter what time I go to bed, I'm going to wake up around daylight, 6, 7 in the morning. Like, so,
Yep.
And I might,
It's like a switch in the brain.
yeah, and I might
go beep,
scroll my
like,
phone
oh.
for a little bit and then try to go to sleep again. But it never, like during that time period, am I like, man, I'm really sleepy. And then I like sleep some more and wake up and man, I feel really refreshed. It's always like, that second time you wake up, you're kind of like, whoa.
It's a little sluggish.
Yeah, biological clock's like, broken inside of you somehow. It's like got error.
Yeah, well, like the little
ERR
angel on your
written on
shoulder, and there's a devil and an angel. The little angel pops up and be like, "Yeah, man, you shouldn't be playing fucking video games till 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're tired.
Oh, I know.
Same thing. That was happening to me.
I like to talk. I like
Same
for
thing.
just extra credit to throw like a snack in there on top of my stomach right before I go to bed. Too like maybe go polish off some chicken wings or something out of the.
Oh, dude, that's not good. No bueno. Yeah.
Yeah. You just wake up like with the worst heartburn in the world. Sleepy, angry, like been dreaming about playing Ark all night.
Oh, and the architecture of your sleep is never good if you stay up late or you eat before going to bed. But I mean, that's a whole nother topic adjacent to this one. So hey, what kind of feedback were you getting out there from the awesome fellow gamers?
Let's look at some of these comments. I did kind of pick out some specific ones that it goes through a whole lot of different things. One, like I'll start off with and see if you know this.
Well, before you read some off, hit us with the question again.
Right. All right.
Not with everyone you read, but just right now, just so that we can get the fresh.
What do
get it
you
fresh in our
feel
brain.
is an appropriate amount of gaming time per week? And Mr. Martigan W said NOYGDB. Do you know what that means?
NOYGDB?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea, dude.
I didn't either.
I have a feeling it's nasty though. Did you look it up in the Urban Dictionary?
So I think the first two words are none of.
Oh, okay. None of your fucking business?
None of your goddamn business.
Oh my gosh, dude. How aggressive. I think he's being sarcastic.
Well, I was like, dang.
Like damn, I don't. That's somebody going like, well, I really don't want anyone asking me that.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna like the answer. So that guy obviously plays like 1,000 hours a week.
Yeah. Like get a sore spot with him, didn't it? This was in the Warzone or I think it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Warzone community. Is what the actual title of the Facebook group is. But yeah, man, that was pretty aggro, I thought. And I went into it all like, I was like, oh, that must mean, something like, and I think even somebody commented under him, not everybody's going to know what you mean. That really made me want to know what it was. And I looked it up and I was like, okay. All right.
I don't think that was coming as a jab at us or at you. I think he was just kind of like in a very sarcastic way saying, I play way too much and I don't want you asking me this question. That guy is us a couple of years ago.
I like this one guy, Anthony James, said, "My God, shut up." And people liked this comment. And there's another guy that said on the Warzone community that was like, "You're asking the wrong crowd, homie." It's like till the killing's done. Apparently.
Oh God, you're asking the wrong crowd, homie. Oh my God, that's a good one. That's a good one, man.
Yeah, but
let me see here. Oh, that's funny, man. I mean, and it looks like a bunch of people put all kinds of answers that were authentic, like 100 hours, 25 hours. One guy put 25 hours a day. That's funny. 1 hour. There were a bunch of like regular answers like that.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised by the sheer amount of people that responded to that. That's awesome. Did you have any others?
Some themes were kind of like people having kids. Like someone put, in our world, AFK can also mean adulting the fucking kids. What Patrick D put. And, there was one guy that had a pretty unique situation that I've had a little bit of experience with that kind of was like, oh wow, like he kind of pointed out like he was a truck driving instructor and he had a lot of time where he was actually at work but could be playing the game. When they I just imagined like when they were waiting on the truck to be unloaded or maybe the driver, he did all his instructing and it was really just a matter of, putting a few hours on the road in or whatever. He could kind of be distracted by that. And I remembered, at one point with the Forest Service, I did this thing where I worked with the air tank that dropped the retardant on fires. And I was in Casper, Wyoming, and I met this dude that was playing Diablo on his computer. And, there were times like we were really busy working and there were other times we were just waiting for a call. And during that waiting time, once you had everything prepared and had gone through your checklists and, done all the responsible things to be ready, like you could do what you wanted. And I played games on my phone, but he brought it like a laptop. And I remember thinking like, man, he's getting paid bank to play some games.
Yeah, play a little Diablo.
Yeah. And like in both of these cases, like it yeah, if you can get that kind of job, like where, you're, I don't know, night watchman or something like where you can play a game, really, because there were a lot of my job was like that where, we might be working like crazy, but then there also might be a time period where we're sitting around in an airport for, just hours on end. And you had that time period to get into that. And, that was on a Sega Game Gear I had, that I wore out in a Game Boy Color at some point. But,
yeah. Oh, the Sega Game Gear. Good memories.
Yeah. So this one guy pointed out, yeah, he was kind of doing it. I was trying to see if I had pulled his comment down to my phone here, but I don't think I did. But I just kind of written here, to kind of relate that story of me kind of being in that situation there in Wyoming. But one guy really broke it down. He said in a day, he did 16 hours of gaming, 7 hours of sleeping, and 1 hour of eating, pooping, and showering. And that pretty much was his day.
I mean, that's a full day.
That's 24
What? Can you read that again?
16 hours of gaming, 7 hours of sleeping, and 1 hour of eating, pooping, and showering.
Is that 24 hours?
It is 24 hours. 16 plus 8. Yeah.
Damn, man.
Solid.
He must be a content creator, I think, because that's not a lot of room for work.
That did come up too. Somebody said they were a streamer, and that was it really didn't apply. They did it every day, all day, every day. One person, this is kind of an interesting take. They said if you have to ask a question like this, you have a juvenile mindset. There is no magic number for most things, and this is what they wrote. This is me reading it. So it says, and life and looking for them is just an exercise in futility. Play as much as you want, but don't let it interfere and affect your health and lifestyle. And that was Shelby D.
I like the end of that comment. Can you read that one more time, dude? I'm sorry.
It says, if you have to ask a question like this, you have a juvenile mindset. There's no magic number for most things in life, is what I think she meant to put there where it says and looking for them is just an exercise in futility. Play as much as you want, but don't let it interfere and affect your health and lifestyle. It's pretty.
I mean, I think that's spot on.
Swinging.
Except,
Yeah.
I think the swing with the juvenile mindset thing was a little over the top. Kind of just like, well, no, that's not necessarily true. But everything else I think is spot on, and that's really what my conclusion with this whole thing would be is that, and I think some people are gonna disagree or hate me for this, but I just think it's the healthiest way to go is that, like, gamers are going to probably disagree with this, but I think real life is obviously more important. No argument there. I mean, real life is what it is. And I think everything that integrates that is more important. So basically what I'm trying to say, and I don't want to get all like philosophical and long-winded with it, is that you got to have balance.
True.
And I think gaming, unless it's part of your job and your job / passion / like you're actually, it's bringing value to your real life. Like if you can create a life where the video gaming brings more weight to the balance of things in real life, like with streamers, content creators, where they've created a business model around it, their brand and all that, that's one thing. But for your average Joe like us, I really think that gaming is great for us, once we've gotten the rest of our shit done. You got to get your shit done. If you got a job, you got to knock that job out and do the best you can. Even if, that's just my philosophy, is you do the best you can in your job, even if you don't like it, because it's your job. And then if you don't like your fucking job, get a new job. That's a whole other topic. We don't need to get into that. But once you got your shit done, your job's out of the way. If you're a family man, your kids are good to go and they're put to bed or whatever the case may be. As long as your shit is attended to, and you've gone and hit the gym and worked on yourself to strengthen yourself first, in what is the video game of life, max out your character in the video game of life per day, and then once you've done putting in the reps and putting in the grind, if you've grinded out your character levels in real life, then fuck yeah, dude, jump on and play the video games that you love and enjoy the shit out of it. And I guarantee you, if you've knocked all your shit out in real life first, when you go and jump on that Warzone and get some kills with your buds, or go on a raid in Ark, or go explore new galaxies in No Man's Sky, or win tons of cash on freaking Eve online, which is something I wanted to mention real quick. it'll feel 10 times better. And then, if you want to stay up late, putting in extra hours gaming because you got all your shit done, I wouldn't recommend it because you'll be exhausted the next day, but you can do it because you earned it. Fucking earned it. Yeah. Right? Or you just don't game at all, grind out your week, maxing out your real life character till Friday hits, and then on the weekend, fucking go at it. That's what I think.
True. Yeah. Yeah,
however that may translate into hours per week, however that may break down, whatever. But that's kind of my look at it.
That seemed to be like the overarching theme amongst the comments too. Like I think folks were just kind of like, as long as everything else is in check, like do what feels good. And we did kind of touch on how some things like some games seem to really dictate that for you, but
some games will pull you away from the real life game.
Yeah,
because they're just so
and it comes back to finding that balance. Like if that does happen, then maybe you pull back a little bit the next weekend or something, like plan a trip outside or whatever. But
take the damn needle out of your arm and go to a damn park.
Yeah, go upstairs,
feed a bird, lift a weight, do a pull up, jerk off. God damn. Look at a titty. I don't know.
Look at a titty.
A real life one. Get off that Witcher titties.
No, another common theme. A lot of folks are keeping balance in a relationship, like with a significant other, And one of the funny comments was
that's a factor.
I didn't write it down, but they said like you're in an argument with your wife, aren't you? That's why you posted it.
I remember that one, Chuck. Oh my God, that's right. What do you think is a good time of gaming per week?
Turn to Facebook.
Yeah. What did it say? You're having a fight with your wife, aren't you? That's a funny comment, dude. I hope you responded to that guy or liked his comment or something.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. That's probably in the top 3, I think, of the comments.
Yeah, that's solid, and that came out for a lot of people. One guy's like, my wife works third shift, so I get to play a lot, and then others like, whatever. When I get the honeydew list, one just said completely, whatever your female will allow. LOL. And,
whatever your female.
And then somebody responded to him and said, "This is the only correct answer. Sometimes I gotta lay down the pipe and then wait for her to fall asleep on my arm, which doesn't work for like 10 minutes after I manage to escape from her clutches. Then it's back to Ultra One. Please be advised, we are seeing any enemy operators close to your location."
Those are great. Didn't someone say, "What the hell kind of question is this?" or something like that? Didn't somebody write that to you?
They did. It
or did we already talk about that one?
Yeah, some guy, was like yeah, there were a number of like, who the hell cares? Like why are you asking this, type things. If you've got to ask, like you've obviously got a problem, go touch some grass. Like
you obviously got a problem. Go touch some grass.
Who's really counting?
Oh my God, dude, I love these comments, man. Go touch some grass.
167 hours comes up a lot. Like there must be some hidden meaning to that. Like
167?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I saw that like or 169 or 100.
Hold on.
Like
hold on. Let me ask. How many hours are there in a week? Do you know the answer to that, Chuck?
What 7 times 24 is?
I suck at math, dude.
That's going to be about 175. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I had a feeling that's what they were talking about.
Solid. Yeah. It's how stupid.
See, we're not smart like that. We need calculators and shit.
I just proved it on air. Perfect. Like.
What are you from, Missouri?
What's this 167 thing? That's weird. And that's 24/7 come up a lot too.
What do you mean 167? It's 168. Jesus. 168. Not 67. Jesus Christ.
Why do people put 169? That don't make no sense. That's
get a hold of yourself.
God. Oh my God. I'm sorry, people. Like, yeah, I had a moment there.
It's okay. We're at a Chuck point.
I did make a Chuck point out of that. Like, I did ask per
We'll clip
week,
that.
you know?
We'll clip that.
It can live.
Timestamp that. We got to make a clip.
All right. Yeah.
Chuck's losing his mind.
Perfect.
Where are we at, Chuck? We're at 54 minutes, man. We're getting close to that hour mark.
Not bad. Let me see. I had all my comments written down here. Let me make sure there's not. Oh, there was one that said "Until I Fall Asleep with the Controller in My Hand" by Zay C. I think I remember you having an experience like that.
Dude, I hate to admit that that's been happening to me.
Recently more? Like
yeah, recently, because I'll come back from jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, and I really want to play video games because, like I said, at that point I've been working on my real life character, me, moi, yo.
Double XP weekend, real life.
Double XP weekend, and I'll get, this is during the weekend, I'll get back and, yeah, man, I'll just be beat, but I'll power on, throw on some Witcher or some No Man's Sky or, what else have I been playing? I've been hitting that Skyrim. And man, I'll get through a mission or through a quest, and then I'll start to feel it, man. And I swear to God, dude, I'll have the controller in my hand, and I'll just be kind of looking at with the loot that I unlocked or whatever. And I really will just start. And if you're only listening to this, I'm just like I'll just start leaning to the side. My eyes start to close. And I just start going from 90 degrees to like getting close to the, and I'll just start collapsing, dude. And then I'll like kind of like my legs will spaz. You know how when you're like you're like half asleep and a limb will spaz.
Like that.
Have you ever experienced that? Yeah, like your leg will just your leg will just fuck, and I'll wake myself up. Like, all right, time for bed. Fuck.
Drop kick something across the
like, and there goes a plastic cup flying across my floor.
Kick the cat.
Oh, thank God it was empty. Yeah, man.
That is, I never get like that. I've got to go upstairs from where I'm at here. So like, if I let it go that far, I just end up spending the night down there in the basement. Because usually for me, it's like I'll shut my eyes once and I'll be like, oh shit, I could fall asleep right now, and like, then that'll be the clue. But I have powered on through it in a few arc situations.
Yeah,
it gets ugly after that.
That's
when mistakes happen.
Yeah. Well, it's just like I remember we've had some times with ARC where we were well past bedtime, and at that point we were putting too much time into the video games. Like at that point, we were going against the grain with this whole topic, and we knew it. And then like there were times too where we would not be successful at the end of the raid whatever, and then you just look, and then that one time especially, and it was like, all right, well, fucking 3 a.m. That means it's like fucking basically the sun's coming up for Chuck, and here we are.
And we went. It was like, oh, we got to go to the base and get some C4, and we flew back to the base and came back, and we didn't have the C4.
We crafted it on the fabricator.
It was like, how the hell did we do that? And it's like, yeah, because it's 4 a.m. That's why we did that. We were running through that cave with all the spiders, and all we had to do was put on ghillie, but we fought them like every time. We
were starting to go insane at that point.
And we didn't have Chinaman's chance of getting in that place either. Like they
dude, they were layer after layer after layer of turrets,
and we were talking back there, dude.
Cloning and it wasn't just it was only heavies and tech. So and there's ovoxandchuk with a stego
and a sleeping bag.
Yeah. Oh, and the saddle, like for anyone that plays ARC knows that this is a bad situation, but we had a regular saddle on the stego. Yeah. Nothing like no ascendant, no mastercraft, nothing like that. But anyways, Chuck, what's your final conclusion on, or did you already give that? I know I already gave mine.
I will say it's about balance and just if you have a really long night, make up for it somewhere else. Don't let it get out of hand. And, I know for me, like I've learned to just accept sometimes in ARC that I'm going to lose some stuff, and maybe plan a little more ahead, like not have a bunch of crap on me, which obviously I don't always follow through with. But if I know I'm going to do something incredibly dangerous, throw a few things in a vault and let it be safe. And
oh, you mean so that you don't end up spending time
too much time, more than I intend
too
to.
much? Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like and I think that boils down to balance is about setting boundaries and just sort of saying, okay, sometimes I gotta say no to this, and
yeah, and get off the damn video game. Turn it off. Put it in rest mode.
But I certainly appreciate everyone's comments and enjoyed the crap out of reading them and laughing from that. So yeah, that's pretty much how it wraps up for me, though. I think.
Hey, sorry, man, I just lost power. But yeah, I think you were saying you were enjoying everyone's comments. I'm sorry.
No, yeah. I was just kind of wrapping up, just saying I definitely enjoyed everyone's comments, and it was kind of balanced. It turned out moderation sort of is the overarching theme of kind of what's appropriate, I think, and it's a fun thought exercise to discuss. As I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. I lost power here. It's funny. We were just talking about funny things that happened to me here in the barrio of Mexico. So yeah, lost power. I'm back. Yeah, agreed. There was so great balance. Thanks to everyone for those comments. I think we might mention it there that we brought this up as an episode, and maybe some of those folks that were commenting can hear this episode. That'd be funny just to see what they think. But yeah, man, some of those comments made me laugh so hard. Even the ones that maybe at first glance seem aggressive. I don't think they were aggressive. I don't think they were trying to say those things with the, it's really hard to interpret one's context and emotion through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and comments. And if there's anything I've learned from other podcasts and other content creators is that we can't put any too much weight into comments and stuff like that. I just look at them all with a positive, like they're saying it in a positive context before looking at it as if they were saying it with a negative context. And it's amazing how much smoother things can go. Like when you're, true. When you read comments, and this goes for anyone out there that hears this, like if you read comments, assume that they're saying it with a positive tone and context. Even if like your brain immediately goes like, oh, this guy said, he's obvious. No. Assume, do it as an experiment. Just assume they're saying it with a positive tone and context. And you'll be surprised how often it might change things for the better when you're interacting with folks on the social media. Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
There's kind of that saying like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I was just saying thanks again to everyone out there for commenting. That's all.
Yeah. And there's something about having a page for our podcast that allows me to be a little more objective, I think, instead of, taking things personally. Like it's kind of, it obviously this reflects us, but you're a little bit removed from that, and it kind of makes it fun to discuss like that.
Oh, dude, and the questions you've been posting out there are great. They're just great. So final conclusions, I think we both come to the agreement that it's about balance. Game as much as you want, enjoy the shit out of it. It's something that we all love, and no one's going to take that away from us. But real life is extremely important too. Being strong, getting enough sleep, eating healthy, so on and so forth. But we're all adults, and it's a free place. Mexico's also a free country. U.S. is a free country. So as long as you're not hurting anyone else, do whatever the fuck you want.
Hop on it.
But if you can do it with some balance, then I think that's the way to go. Shoot. Mm-hmm. What else do we got? Is that I think that's
I'm
pretty
gonna say
much,
do it while listening to this podcast is what I would recommend.
Do what?
Gaming.
Do some gaming while listening to us chat.
That's right.
I mean, dude, you mentioned that earlier, and I do that a bunch, man.
Yeah.
I'll listen to podcasts while doing some Ark, some No Man's Sky, and I don't want to backtrack, but you mentioned earlier about work scenarios where you can game at the same time. And I do a lot of my work on the computer as an attorney, and there will be times where honestly I'll have Eve Online kind of open on a side screen there, checking the Eve market, trying to make some ISK, make that interstellar credit, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get rich in the video game world too.
As it turns out, you're eligible for $1,500 in compensatory damages. And I'm also...
Yep.
That's awesome.
Well, this has been episode 29 of the New Wave Gaming Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Rate and review. Share us with your friends out there. We're trying to, get out there one listener at a time as an independent podcast. Probably the best, worst video gaming podcast you'll find out there. But hey, we're consistent, and this has been. We're coming up on 30 episodes of library content that you can always go back to and have some laughs. Chuck, you were mentioning that earlier, that these episodes are going to be out there forever, man.
Laying it down for them.
Share it with your fellow gamers and non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs.
Yeah, get caught up.
Get caught up with it and keep balance. Chuck, thank you for your time, man. Happy fucking Saturday.
Too, love you, brother.
Oh, and hey, before we forget, everyone in the United States of America, have an awesome 4th of July. Fucking have a great time. Pásala muy bien.
Careful with those fireworks.
Careful with your fireworks. Don't blow any fingers off. Fuck, man. Be careful. Careful out there. But have a good time. Pound some, what are those, God, they started selling them down here in big bottles. This has been the longest fucking goodbye of any of our podcasts. What are they called?
Cherry bombs.
MGDs. Pound some MGDs.
MGD.
Those Miller Genuine Drafts. Dude, they started selling them down here and all of my Mexican buddies, man. They're like, what do they call these? And they're like, they call them MGD. MGD?
Yeah.
It's
the champagne
MGD?
of beers, man.
La champaña de la cheve, loco.
It's the highlight.
It's funny. Okay. All right. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Love you, everyone. Talk to you soon.